Welcome to Talk and Beyond, Episode 3, Segment 2. Today we are in this wonderful place, the Grover Zampa Vineyards, and it's really hot. So excuse our umbrellas, but we thought we should protect ourselves. There's a lot of history in this wonderful place, how it was started by Mr. Kanwal Grover and his passion for winemaking and the beauty of grapes. He was the first one to bring French grapes into India, and he continued his passion, and he's made a huge industry of it. It's the finest wine in India. And we have Mr. Kapil Grover and Karishma Grover, who continue his vision and his passion, and they continue to make this a world-class wine. So let's go on in and have a wine tour to see how this wonderful wine is made, and also we'll go and taste some wine and learn some good tips on how we can buy good wine. Come along.
Hi guys.
Oh, hi.
Welcome.
Thank you, Karishma.
My pleasure. We receive the grapes from all over, from our vineyards, from our farmers. And once they come into the winery, we cool them down in the cold room to about 15 degrees Celsius if we can. The next step, as you can see on this line, is it's a vibrating table followed by a conveyor belt, which is a sorting table. What the ladies on each side of the sorting table are doing are removing the grapes that are not ripe enough or the grapes that are too ripe. And the reason for that is when you make wine, you want the perfect maturity through the wine, because you can taste even 1%, 2% unripe or overripe grapes. The next step is it goes up in the conveyor and then it goes through the destemmer crusher, which is a simple machine that just separates the stems from the berries. It then goes through the must pump. For white wines, it goes for pressing and it's just the juice that we use. For red wine, the skins, seeds, and everything goes into the tank. So this is the fermentation hall. We do white wine fermentation and red wine fermentation out here. In general, we have two halls, so we try to separate the two fermentations to be more efficient for temperature control. For white wine fermentations, we ferment the wine at 14 to 16 degrees Celsius, and it takes about 3 weeks to a month for fermentation to complete. So our red wine fermentations happen at 20 to 24 degrees Celsius. The higher temperature allows us to extract tannins and color better from the skin. As you can see, it's happening here with a newly crushed red wine tank that we have going. It takes about 5 days for the fermentation to complete, which is the sugar to complete and turn into alcohol. But we can keep the skin with the juice with the wine for another up to 3 weeks, depending on the potential of the grapes. All the barrels that you see here are French oak barrels. We have a small percentage of American oak. But where the oak tree is grown and what species of oak it is, as well as the toasting inside the oak, affects the overall result that you're going to get of the red wine. Most of our wine, our largest brand that's oak aged, is La Reserve, which spends 6 months in barrel. And the most premium that we have is the Insignia, which spends 2 years in the barrel. So the life of the wine in the barrel is anywhere between 6 months to 2 years. The bottling that we're seeing here today is the sparkling wine bottling. It's the first bottling that you do. The first thing that you see is a rinsing, because we're using new glasses. It's just a light rinse to get the dust out of the bottle. The second thing that you see is the filling. Because it's a sparkling wine and there's going to be a secondary fermentation in the bottle, there's a small part of the machine that gets skipped here, which is filling the bottle with inert gas. So for still wine, we fill it with inert gas and then we fill it with the wine. The next thing that you see here is a crown cap, and the reason to do that is we want to do a secondary fermentation inside the bottle under pressure. Eventually what's going to happen with this wine is we will remove the solid part which did the fermentation and put the cork that we know, the mushroom cork that everybody knows for sparkling wine. If it was a normal still wine bottling, it would either go straight for screw capping or corking, depending on what brand it was. Once it's done and ready to go to market, we'd put on the label that would be required, and then it's shipped off.
Oh, what a beautiful day. Look at where we are. Look at this view, it's amazing. At the Grover Sampa Vineyards, wonderful. A good time for a picnic.
Welcome, guys. I hope you have a good afternoon.
Thank you for inviting us.
Our pleasure. So Paula, thanks for this amazing food.
You're more than
it
welcome.
Looks wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, recently I made a Mediterranean banquet, and
nice.
I thought, oh, can we take some of that on a picnic? So what we did was chose the things that actually could be served warm, cold and hot. So what we've done here is we've infused flavours from the Mediterranean and some Moroccan flavours. Mostly it's tomatoes and onions and coriander, maybe some mint. You can see some quinoa, some quiches. Hopefully the quiches will work well with your wines here, and a selection of tapas. So, and most of the flavours are fennel and cumin and things like that. So
Right.
not too many chilies.
It smells amazing.
Thank you.
It really does.
And deliberately not many chilies. So, and you know, sometimes we get confused. Though,
You just heard all the Indians shutting
I know.
down.
But you know, the thing is, most of my friends are Indian friends,
Right.
and they're amazed at the flavour, and not one of them has missed the chili.
Ah.
You can, of course, put a little bit in, but
Yep.
try it like this first, I think. But people often get confused about what wine to choose with a banquet like this, or a picnic.
So what I would say, I mean, you can see how warm it is right
Yeah.
now, and it's only going to get warmer because
Yeah.
we're heading into summer. So I would say really drink a wine that kind of keeps you a bit cool. So I would say a white wine, a sparkling like we are having,
Yeah.
which is just wonderful with
Yeah.
this weather. If you really want to go with something slightly heavier, I would say the rosé, because you can still serve it chilled.
Yeah.
And
Actually, sorry, the rosé is amazing.
The
It's
rosé is
one of the best
perfect.
rosés I've tried.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But so for me, I would do either the rosé still or sparkling.
Yeah.
You can do either one, and it's just wonderful weather for that. And if you're doing a lovely spread like this with interesting flavors and interesting nuances on the food, you don't want something that's going to overpower it.
Yeah.
The bottom line, though, the most important thing to do is to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
So whatever you choose for wine pairing and whatever you choose for your picnic, it should be things that you love to do, love to eat. It's not a good picnic unless you go back thinking, wow, someone needs to rub my belly and I need a nap right now.
I agree with that. That's good. Yeah, and so, you know, we've got some chicken here, but if we had fish and beef or some pork,
Right.
would your advice be the same, do you think?
I would say it's similar. I would say definitely the rosé might be better for beef, pork and
Yeah.
lamb dishes.
Yeah.
But I would say, yeah, just go with what you're comfortable drinking, go with what, suits you. Having a red wine right now just seems like the worst thing that you can ask me to do. It's a
I
bit
agree.
warm. But if you really love your red and you're really cool with the temperature and you really just think that that's what's going to go with it, go for it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me.
So basically you're saying there's not any real rules with it, unless we're dining at Downton Abbey and we're having a 7-course meal.
Yep.
That's a bit different, but
Yep.
for al fresco dining and home dining,
I would
just go
say
with-
90% of your wine life should just be what makes you happy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, and as all my friends know, I do like a good glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So, Krishna, I made some very simple cupcakes, just for dining outside, just pear and ginger. So, would you suggest something different?
I would say it seems the idea here is to just have a nibble of everything every now and again. So I would
Yeah.
say stick with sparkling, stick with white wine, stick with what you're having, because it's a little bit of, there's no courses and you're not
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know would do the dessert first and then
A lot of people I know
So,
would do
you know.
the same.
so then you're just kind of drinking for the
Yeah.
afternoon.
So I love this. I mean, there's no real rules to having a picnic or al fresco dining. Just go with what
Absolutely.
you feel like.
Absolutely.
But I have another question, because my favourite dish, Indian dish, is butter chicken.
Okay.
And my husband's is Rogan Josh. So
Right.
what would we have? How would we pair our food with our wine?
I love couples who have diametrically different food tastes, because that's two different wines that I get
Yeah.
to sell to you.
He's very yes, that's it. So you'd love us. He's
Yeah.
very spicy.
So definitely for the Rogan Josh, I would say the Vijay Amritraj Reserve Collection Red is a good big red wine that would be able to match up to the flavors.
Yeah.
For the butter chicken, generally it tends to be slightly on the milder, I would say almost sweeter side of Indian food.
Yeah.
And I would say the rosé would go much better with that. Alternatively, you can have the Vijay Amritraj White Reserve
Yeah.
collection and stay in the same family. But
Yeah, I do think this rosé though seems to be a good all-rounder actually, so you can't really go wrong.
I don't
when
think you
choosing
can.
that.
I
Yeah.
haven't yet found a time to go wrong with our
Yeah.
rosé because it's dry, so it's not sweet.
Yeah,
It's got a really fruity flavor, so it's mild enough,
yeah,
but it's got tannin structure as well, so it's strong enough.
yeah,
And the best part about it is you serve it chilled.
yes,
And I think of not a better day than lying by the pool
Yeah.
with a glass of rosé.
yeah. Or walking through this wonderful vineyard.
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely. Maybe swiping something off this table.
Yeah, why not? That sounds like a fantastic idea.
Absolutely. So let's have a sip. Cheers.
Cheers. Absolute perfection. Thank you very much.
Thank you.